Good to be here once again. Now, as the year comes to a close, I I believe would want to ask ourselves some few questions as to taking stock of our lives, what we've been able to achieve and what we were not able to achieve. In some parts of the world, China and beyond, they're already into the new year. So I believe here in Africa we are just a few hours to go into the new year, and I can't wait to be in the new year. And I know people will be rushing to places of worship to thank God, to praise, shout, jump, dance around with optimism, enthusiasm, hoping for a better new year. But as the year closes, it is worth asking ourselves some honest questions. Were you able to achieve the plans you set at the beginning of the year? Did you reach the goals you once wrote down with hope and excitement? That's a question we may want to ask ourselves. If the answer is yes, then you deserve recognition for your discipline and persistence. No, but if the answer is no, my dear, then the real work begins, not with blame, but with sober reflection. You see, why did those goals remain unfinished? Was it procrastination, exhaustion, discouragement, or perhaps the weight of life itself made the journey harder than you expected? That's some of questions you may want to ask yourself. You see, for many, for many, it could be financial limitations, lack of support, or unexpected responsibilities because obstacles along the way blocked all that you wanted to do. These realities matter and they deserve to be acknowledged honestly. And as we moved into the new year, we're moving from one into another, many people gather, you know, to pray, gather in churches, homes, seeking God's presence. Yeah, just as we did, what we do every year. People gather, to pray, thank God, dance, and renew their hope in the coming year. People made decisions with optimism, believing that the new year would bring change. Yet somewhere between those early moments of enthusiasm and the passing months, momentum faded some. It is worth asking what happened? You know, why did the resolve weaken? Why did the first steps never turn into consistent action? These are questions. Now, as another year begins, we will once again set goals. Now, make projections, see, and outline plans. This time, I offer a simple reminder. Keep it simple because life is unpredictable. See, life itself is unpredictable. So you need to keep your goals simple and clarity often comes through simplicity. Yes, we are told to dream big because dreams that do not stretch us rarely transform us. Dream big. The dreams do not put fear in you, then they are not dreams. But dreaming is only the beginning, my dear. The deeper question is this: are you prepared to step into the work required to carry out those dreams? That's a question we may want to ask ourselves. Are you ready to step into those steps? For every meaningful goal requires sacrifice. Sacrifice, perhaps not a grand gesture, but small daily sacrifices, time, comfort, habits, and sometimes pride. Sacrifice all these. Are you willing to give a little more than you did before? If not, what must change within you to make that possible? That's a question you may want to ask yourself. What must change within you to make it possible? You see, growth often begins with difficult but necessary decisions. Now, at the center of all these, there has to be an intentional time with God. To seek His face so that you can be directed. Because direction becomes clearer when we pause and seek His guidance. Before creating, planning, or pursuing anything, place it before God. Because He is the only one who will direct your steps into achieving your goal. Ask for wisdom, ask for clarity and patience when things are not going on well as you wish. Ask for patience because progress does not always come quickly. But when it is guided, it becomes steady and sustainable. We must remember that God, in many ways, speaks to us. He speaks to us. He speaks to us through unexpected opportunities, through circumstances, and through people sometimes. No quiet thoughts. And the question we need to ask ourselves is whether God is speaking clearly as we wish. The question is not whether God is speaking, but whether we are ready to listen and respond. Are we willing to adjust, to learn, and to act when direction comes? As a content creator, this is the most difficult for us. The year ends, then you ask yourself, what have I created? Mhm. No, ideas felt endless. Concepts were clear in my mind or my head, your head, whatever. The vision was strong. You see content that you wanted to make, the stories you wanted to tell, and the audience you hope to reach. Yet, as months passed, reality stepped in. Some plans were moved forward, others remained untouched. Not because they lack value, but because fear, distraction, or exhaustion got in the way. You see, creativity is not always about talent. Often, it is about consistency. And consistency demands more than motivation. It asks for discipline, patience, and a willingness to show up even when results are slow. There were days, I delayed because I wanted things to be perfect as a creator myself. Days I doubted whether my voice mattered. Days I scrolled instead of creating, convincing myself I would start tomorrow. I will start tomorrow. We kept postponing. Looking back, I realized that most creative goals are not lost in big failures, but in small hesitations, waiting for better tools, waiting for confidence, you know, waiting for validation. But creativity grows when action comes first, not what conditions, or not when conditions are ideal. This year also taught me that content creation is deeply connected to inner clarity. When my mind was scattered, my work reflected it. When I paused, prayed, reflected, or simply sat with my thoughts, my ideas became sharper. Direction did not always come boldly. It often arrived quietly, through reflection, through rest, or through honest conversation with myself. Now, as a creator, I am learning to simplify. Not every idea needs to be executed at once. You know, not every post needs to perform perfectly. Progress comes from choosing one story, one format, one message, and committing to it steadily. Small beginnings matter. 5 focused minutes, one thoughtful post, one honest piece of work. Dreaming big still matters. If a vision does not stretch me, I cannot grow. It's something that I've been telling myself all the time. But dreaming without action leads nowhere. It leads us nowhere. The real question is not how big the dream is, but how willing I am to sacrifice comfort to bring it to life. Am I willing to be consistent when no one is watching? That's a question you should ask yourself. Am I willing to learn when things do not work? Am I willing to keep going? Keep going when growth feels slow. Now, as I step into a new year, I am choosing intention over pressure, faith over fear, process over perfection. I am choosing to listen to feedback, to stillness, and to the quiet guidance. That reminds me why I started creating in the first place. This new season is not about proving anything. No, it's about building something meaningful, one piece at a time. And I believe that if I stay present, disciplined, and open to growth, the work will find its way. This is my reflection as a content creator. Not finished, not perfect, but still showing up. Thank you for joining me and have a wonderful day. Until I come your way again, God bless you.